Thank you so much for joining us, YouTube. You're here early, as usual.
Which is always good. This
It's
is the real
appreciated.
time, the real talk, the real time.
It's appreciated that you're here and joining us today, episode 29.
Thank you.
It's going to be a good one.
Thank you for joining us.
We don't have a topic yet. We're going to wing it.
Well, we've got a couple videos we really think are great. Sean and I were talking about passion, and not just about keeping it and, going about it and becoming the best person you can be and being motivated to reach your passion, but about what happens when you don't have one, or
Feeling
why passion
lost.
is so important in your daily life. I know I spoke about it in my solo episode, but I think two people's perspective on this will be a good one for us.
We're going to touch back on it, and it's going to be a filled episode with Tony Robbins today.
Yeah.
Because he is
One of our favorites.
Fantastic motivational speaker.
Absolutely. And his voice is dreamy.
It's a fact. I dream of having a Tony Robbins
I like
voice.
women, and I like his voice. So
Let's start the episode with our music.
all right.
Ian Thompson.
Love Ian Thompson. Thank you, Ian Thompson.
Fantastic.
Whoops. I screwed up
You
Bob.
did. You moved Bob.
Sorry, guys.
Ben's not used to close quarters there.
I'm not. It's all crowded. Yep, we're good.
Double checking for you guys to make sure you're getting the most top-notch show you can.
Top notch. 1080. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Starting off hot, guys.
Sorry, small delay.
Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show.
Yep.
Episode 29.
Yep.
It's a wonderful day to have you all joining us today.
Yep.
Whatever day you're listening,
Yep.
Thank you so much. It's your positivity package for the week, living a positive life in a world that makes that incredibly difficult at times.
Yep.
If you're on YouTube right now watching, make sure you've clicked that subscribe button down there in the lower left-hand corner. Click that notification bell so you get a notification every time that the BOWA Show releases a new episode, whether you're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast from. Also on those, make sure you click that subscribe button. Leave us those reviews. Join us on our Facebook page, The BOWA Show Podcast, for regular updates throughout the week to remind you of the show, to remind you of good news, to remind you of little things that help get you through the week. So,
quick clips. We like to do our releases every Monday at 7 a.m. We try to get our YouTube and our podcast on there every Monday, but we're really working on getting a community going where every day there's some positive news stories, there's positive comments, positive outlook on the world. People commenting, sharing stories, talking about the things that are going on. Join us on the BOWA Show's Facebook page, the BOWA Show Podcast on Facebook. We want to have a real community going there about just any time you want to feel a little bit of positivity, just log right on, check us out.
yeah. So, there's our plugs for the week.
I think so. I think we hit them all.
Yeah. How are you doing this week, Ben?
Pretty good, Sean. Doing all right. I'm a little bit peeved. I have my civic duty of giving jury duty tomorrow.
Yep.
I have to be there at 9 a.m. I called and they said, yes, come in. I would like to try and get my way out of it, but I did that in May. And so here I am stuck in October. But it is a good thing to be asked to be on the jury. And I feel like I'm dwelling more on jury duty than I am about the weather outside. So I think that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, it's been pouring down rain for 2 days.
It's the lesser of two evils going to jury duty. I'll tell you what. I've found a better place to be in instead of dwelling on it, being upset I have to go. I have found that I should just relax and do it, and I'll be done soon.
Yeah, and it kind of leads into a general topic of what we're talking about today, and the fact that you were saying you were sitting in the woods and you were trying to enjoy hunting, and you spent your time dwelling on all this.
I'm thinking, why the hell somebody else get in trouble and I got to go to frickin' jury duty? All right, I'm getting punished because some son of a bitch getting freaking in trouble. Some bitch, dude. I don't appreciate other people getting in trouble and making me take time out of my work week to go and be on trial for them. I love America and its democracy, but I shouldn't be a part of that. I mean, let's be honest here. But we'll see. But it's definitely, we had great weather this weekend, so it turned me around a little bit and said, hey, don't get, there's still some good out there. And I
Mhm.
told Sean before the episode too, I was very into learning a little bit more about tracking and identifying, animal tracks, looking at the different plants and trees we have here in Michigan. I want to get out hiking a little bit more. And so I think that's going to be a new thing that I'm really getting into. It's exciting to me, and it's a new thing that I've never really gotten into, but I've always been kind of interested in, and that's where I'm going this week. I think I'm going to go out for a hike here Wednesday, and we'll figure it out.
So you'd say you're trying to find your passion again.
I know my passions, but I'm definitely trying to find new passions
Mm-hmm.
and keep myself as the person I once was.
Yeah.
I know what I was like in college. I know what I was like when I was heavy into photography, and although I have fallen away from photography a little bit, I definitely don't think that my personality has changed very much. I just need to find different ways to keep myself excited in the same ways.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new, exciting hobby thing for me that I think could be pretty nice. When I was in 10th grade, I thought it'd be cool to be a map maker, or cartography, I guess they call it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I don't know enough math, and I don't know how many of those openings there are.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
Since we have satellites,
probably a limited job opportunity.
But it's something I'm getting into, and I think I'm very excited for it going forward this week. What about you, Sean? What were you into?
Oh, a slow work week with the rain. Now that doesn't stop me from running appointments, but also helped the guys out a couple of days being short-staffed. That is always a staunch reminder about just how hard their job is, and it always gives me an appreciation for them.
But you've been there.
Oh yeah, I've done it a lot of times now at this point, but
You came from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now you're here.
That's right, working my way up the ladder for a roofing company, pun intended.
Oh, I see how it is. I've never heard that before.
So yeah, I mean,
that's actually funny as hell.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Other than that, pretty slow week. So it has its ups, it has its downs. That's life in general.
What about emotion, motivation? How's it been waking up in the morning? Anything?
No, that's always there for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I keep that. Wake up with that gratitude attitude. I make sure that thankfulness is always a pillar of my life, and by doing that, it makes the days a little bit easier to deal with.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we got some cool news today.
Yeah, it's a very unique story.
Yeah, you brought it up
right?
to me, and we did find a video that somebody was discussing a little bit more in depth as well.
Yeah, it goes real in depth into the Reddit story behind it. It's about a boy who takes time out of his daily schedule to assist a blind deer, of all things. Yup, a deer. You heard me correctly. Deer. So, but he has formed a unique bond with this deer, and he's helping it out, and it's just a nice random act of kindness that this kid is making a part of his life. So, go ahead and take a listen. I've got some good news for you.
The boy pictured in the post turned out to be a 10-year-old from the residential suburbs of Chicago. And on one day in 2015, he was doing something so kind-hearted for his companion that someone watching on couldn't help but record it for posterity. That someone was Reddit user Blue Collar Classicist, who had been strolling through his local area with his wife early one morning.
Interesting username.
Having spotted some unusual behavior for a few days in a row, the couple were hoping to come across it again. And as it happened, they were not to be disappointed. Specifically, the pair saw the boy walking down the residential street in tandem with a female deer. The Reddit user then took a photograph of the scene from behind to protect the boy's anonymity, and so as not to scare his skittish pal. And after Blue Collar Classicist had uploaded the picture to Reddit, it turned out to be unlike anything the community had ever seen before. But there was far more to the story than just that. Indeed, the wild animal was no normal deer. Blue Collar Classicist found out that the animal was blind. And after talking to the boy, he discovered the reason why the child was walking down the street with the doe. The Reddit user accompanied his snap of the pair with that information, and it understandably made the online community very emotional. In particular, the seeing eye boy was making sure that the blind deer was safe on the Chicago streets.
People love
And
kids.
extraordinarily, he wasn't simply taking the animal for a stroll.
Good
Instead, the
combo.
child was
Win-win.
leading the disabled and vulnerable
That's a
doe
viral
to
video,
grassy
folks.
areas where it could find food.
1.4 million
Perhaps
views.
the most touching part of the story, though, is that the boy had been doing this each day before he attended school. And Blue Collar Classicist remarked on the kid's calm and kind nature with the deer on Reddit. To wit, he revealed that the child was very gentle and quiet as he guided the blind animal with hands on her neck. As soon as the amazing
I wonder how
photo
that
of the boy
starts.
leading the blind deer
No
down the
idea.
road hit the internet,
You know, it'd be a kid
online
though, like a
community
calm,
practically
like I'm
went
sure
crazy for it.
they can feel
More than
the.
1,000 Reddit
You're not
users commented
threatening
on the
at all.
photograph, in fact. What's more, the post eventually received more than 45,000 Reddit upvotes, and the comments under the picture were
Viral.
often incredulous ones. People just couldn't believe the selfless, conscientious, and patient behavior of the child. One Reddit user wrote, for instance, "I'm speechless. That's so sweet of the boy. I'm surprised the deer trusts someone enough to allow it."
Right.
Another said, "This young man has a big heart, and it's nice that he's being recognized for it. It really is very sweet." In fact, most comments were straightforward messages of gratitude to the young boy for taking time out of his day to help a vulnerable animal. But one Redditor professed to be more confused than anything else, joking, "How does one casually develop a relationship with wild animals like
True.
this?
Right.
I need answers." Then, as Blue Collar Classicist's picture story gathered momentum, it began to attract interest from further online media outlets. Those on Reddit, however, were concerned about the future for the disadvantaged deer now that her story had been brought to such attention. But the original poster acted as somewhat of a press agent for the boy and doe over the following few weeks, leaving comments on his post that gave
I
developments
mean, the
on
doe
the
is
story.
already messed.
He told
you know.
Redditors, for instance,
Right.
that
It's
expert
not the
assistance
boy's
Yeah.
was on
fault.
his
I mean,
way.
come on.
No,
His
he's
wife
helping
Can't
the
rehabilitate
situation.
a deer
A
that's
blind
dying.
deer.
The couple then
I mean, yeah,
expected
should
the
it go to
animal
like
be
a
taken to
zoo or
nearby
something,
forest
maybe?
preserve, where the
But
doe
Come
would
on.
obviously be
Zoos
much
can't take
safer.
in wild
Right.
animals.
Blue Collar Classicist also expressed concern over the boy's feelings. "I wish I could do something for the kid. He's probably going to miss her," Blue Collar Classicist wrote. But as it turned out, there was little need for him to have worried about the kid's reaction. A Reddit update a few months later revealed that the deer had indeed been taken away by authorities to a safer place, but the schoolboy hadn't been too distraught about it. His concern was very mature, Blue Collar Classicist said on Reddit about the boy's response. He had only been walking the deer for a few days and hadn't named her or tried to claim her as a pet or anything like that. He just wanted her to be okay and was relieved to know she'd be safe. So, as the vulnerable deer had been rescued from suburban Chicago, the forum turned its attention to something new. Some users mooted the idea of rewarding the young boy for his act of kindness, for instance. "Awesome. If you decide to buy this little fella something, I'd really like to pitch in a few bucks to contribute," a kind and thoughtful stranger wrote. But it emerged that Blue Collar Classicist was way ahead of the pack on this one. He wrote on Reddit that he and his wife were so impressed with the love and respect that the child showed towards the blind animal that they wanted to reward the boy themselves. In fact, Blue Collar Classicist had already been talking to the kid's mom about a couple of possibilities. Firstly, Blue Collar Classicist and his wife had offered to take the schoolboy off to the local wildlife preserve whenever he wanted, although they could not guarantee that that had been where the doe had ended up. But there was also something else that they wanted to do.
it's a weird
Namely, the
reward.
couple decided that they would print off the photograph that had gone viral online and frame it for him as a memory. However, some Reddit users suggested that all Blue Collar Classicist needed to do was show the child the post and comments underneath. They argued that this way, the kid could see for himself how many people were thankful for his altruistic actions.
Why doesn't
One
he get a
person
Reddit
even went
account?
as far as describing the schoolboy as their
That
personal
leads to some
hero.
dangerous roads
What
for
he had
an
done.
11-year-old.
Yes, it does.
"Deer is safe, boy is happy, everyone is relieved," Blue Collar Classicist wrote. And what's more, his story of the boy and the beast led him to receiving his first Reddit Gold. This badge of honor is awarded to users who contribute strong stories that inspire
Sign
others
me
or
up.
spark interesting conversation. And it's fair to say that the original poster had certainly achieved that.
Jazz flute. It's So, of all the things that you can go viral for, at least that's a little feel-good piece.
Absolutely. We see so many viral things that go viral just because it's absolute bullshit comedy or because it's hate.
Or, people fighting or
World
police
star!
brutality. Yeah, exactly. That's what people are going for.
What up? Sorry, that makes me really uncool.
Somewhere we're never going to be.
Well, you never know.
That's
you
true.
and I go to the bar.
There might be an episode that goes off the rails with this guy over here.
You're trying to talk to somebody about positivity. I come up and blindside deck them.
That's right.
No,
with
I wouldn't do that with my 5'8" body. I can't really do that.
Negativity train.
Oh, come on. Yeah, fun. I love that story. For me, it speaks out because I'm a deer hunter, and I hear so often that people are like, "Why do you hate these animals?
Yeah.
Why are you killing innocent animals?" And I think and a lot of people listening or watching right now won't understand. But I always say I respect the white-tailed deer, whatever animal I'm out hunting. They say, "How can you respect it when you go out and kill it?"
Mm-hmm.
And I think it comes down to the fact that look at the tribal impact in the past and just look at our ancestors and everybody. They say, we obviously had to harvest meat to survive, just like other animals do, right? We're predators. We really are, whether we're omnivores, whatever. But I respect the animal that I am hunting because they're a wonderful animal. I love having them here on this earth, but I have gained sustenance by taking them out in the food chain at that point. And it's tough to describe to somebody who doesn't understand it. They may never understand it, but I love the fact that this boy found this blind deer and he's like, you know what? This blind deer is lost, right? What can a blind deer do to feed itself, to survive? And he says, you know what? I'm not going to make it my pet. I'm going to just be here for the deer. He respected the deer more than it being just one of his pets, more than it just being something he's doing. He was trying to guide the deer.
He was just concerned for its safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it was a deer who was struggling, and it obviously felt comfortable enough with him to form a bond,
right.
A very unique bond.
Very unique bond.
But ultimately the deer could sense that he had good intentions.
That's what we were talking about. Like, how does a deer? And they mentioned it in the video too. But how does a deer decide or feel or get the vibes that this boy has good intentions? Where does that start? I'm intrigued to where the relationship started. They didn't really go into it.
Yeah, I wish this article would have talked more to the kid.
Exactly.
Let's hear from him.
Hey, kid, what happened?
What the hell is going on?
How'd you find a blind deer, and how'd you get him to follow you?
Right? Right. Did you know he was blind from the beginning?
Yeah.
Was that sympathy?
How'd you find a Helen Keller deer? How'd that No, they didn't say he was deaf, but
it's true.
I just think it's impressive. The boy respected the deer, and they said it too in the video that he didn't keep it as a pet. And I've said that 2 or 3 times now, but I think that is real respect for the animal. A lot of people say, a lot of people find these endangered animals or even just any, animal that's not domesticated, and they want to keep it as a pet. And that really is disrespectful to the animal. A wild animal wants to be respected and kept in the wild. This boy was right on the fence.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to bring it home and have it be this domesticated deer. Yes, it was kind of a lost cause with a blind deer, but he found the respect and got this deer to wherever it was going every day. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then a more heavily trafficked area I think they said Chicago.
Even if deer in Chicago.
Right? That's what my thought process was.
I bet he had a concealed permit.
That is why that deer is comfortable with people. If there is a deer in Chicago, he is around a lot of people.
Yeah, I bet he has taken the train at least twice.
Probably not even paying.
Oh, come on now.
Deer gets a free ride, but I gotta fork out $3.50 every time I ride the subway.
Not if you get the annual pass, but
it's true.
There you go.
It's easy to say that deer was lost, Ben, and that little boy found him along his way. And then some of our listeners out there might be dealing with that same kind of being lost.
Kind of feeling lost?
And that's how we tie in to today's episode.
I mean, shoot. I am down with that because you mentioned last episode that I have seasonal depression like crazy.
Yep.
I bitch about the cold. Sorry, monetization. But I bitch about the cold all the time.
That's light profanity. You can say that.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And the radio, too.
Yeah.
I live in Michigan, and I know I can move to get out of the cold, but I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And so I bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean knows, as being my friend for a long time, that I really do have a different attitude as soon as September hits.
Yeah.
I don't even notice it myself. I don't notice it myself, but Sean has pointed it out. And it's finding a way to get through these months and not just hibernating. I think hibernating is what makes people have that cabin fever, that just loss of passion, that loss of happiness, and saying, I'll wait until spring to feel happy again, or I'll just try to get through this.
Yeah.
And I discussed that with you a couple of weeks ago, just off the air, and I said, I thought about that in my brain when I was trying to go to sleep, and then I did the math, and I was like, I've kind of only got 55 to 60 summers left if I stay here, right? If I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, in today's world.
So why waste September through April just waiting for the next one to come?
Mm-hmm.
And see, every day I'm trying to get myself to where I'm not just waiting for summer.
Yeah.
It's tough. That's my personality, but I think I can do it and overcome it. I used to be really into snowboarding, and yes, I could move to the Florida Keys, but for right now, I'm not going to waste those months because those months are valuable.
Yeah. Instead of trying to block them out, you're trying to find something you can enjoy about them.
Right. It's finding the positive in the negative day. We always talk, it's not going to be sunshine and daisies unless I move to the Florida Keys.
And then you get hurricanes.
Hey,
They don't say that.
Another conversation.
Yeah, don't say that. You can't possibly say that.
No, I can't. But we'll see. It's about finding the positive and finding the 51% positivity in the 49% negative day.
Yeah. And I'm really happy that today we have Tony Robbins, a nice long speech that we're just going to break down into chunks for you. We'll listen to some, find a good cutting point, talk about it.
It's a great one about, once you find that place where you're doing your thing, and whether it's seasonal depression, whether it's, just getting caught up in a rut, whether it's, doing your thing and
feeling lost in general.
Just all of a sudden you're like, where am I? What am I doing? That question a lot of people hate to hear. What are we?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? What are we doing? What am I doing? Where am I in my life? Is this a linear path, which we've discussed? We don't think it is personally, but where are we?
Yeah.
And just where you go from there. I think it's a pretty inspirational speech.
Yeah, and that it's we're all at points in our life where you get lost at times, and it's totally okay.
You mean daily?
Right? It's totally okay though, because having the awareness that you're lost kind of puts in a new perspective that, well, you're not really lost anymore because where you are, you're lost. You
mean awareness leads to choice and choice leads to change?
What a concept of something that's been on quite a few episodes.
It's almost like it's my motto.
That's right.
I might get a tattoo.
Thanks, Odie, for the call in today.
Jeez, Odie, so loud.
We had like 2 episodes with no shakes, and now he's back.
Well, I kept taking his collar off, but he's back with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
Luke, take his collar off, will you? So we don't get the shakes.
Thanks for bearing with us.
So what do you think? You want to jump into Tony Robbins?
Yeah, let's jump into Tony Robbins. Give the speech a listen. You can find the link in the description. That's on YouTube. Yeah. The video is called Tony Robbins. What is it?
Feeling Lost? Something else. How to find yourself again. Here, you want to really find that?
I was going to say this is
Feeling Lost, how to find yourself again. Exactly what I said previously.
This is now 2 weeks in a row where Ben's like, what I like when you toss it to me so I can introduce a video. And it's 2 weeks in a row, Ben goes, shit.
Well, the video's Tony Robbins and he talks about shit. So here we go.
That's right. Enjoy.
I love it. I think that was one of the best segments we've ever had. Luke seemed to be really enjoying it.
Right? Luke is loving it over there.
I suppose.
You're now a YouTube contributor too, Luke.
Yeah, Luke. Also, this is a great time for me to take a leak.
And we're all set. Ben's back from his break. Luke's down there.
Now we are.
Videos.
All right, let's do 5 seconds of silence. Stay where you're at.
And we're back after that short break.
Very short.
What the hell is this?
Tony Robbins.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're doing
something. You might want to know what it takes to be happy.
we have to understand what is our current blueprint of how our life's supposed to be. Now, what do I mean by blueprint? Well, we have a story in our head of how life's supposed to be. Some people's story is you work hard in school, you become really great, you're a nice person, you're a good person, and then you grow up and you take care of yourself and you find the ideal man and you fall in love and you have a white picket fence and you have 3 perfect children and you live happily ever after.
A lot of things
Somebody
you're talking
else's story,
about.
the old story was you work really hard in school, you excel in college, you go to work for a big corporation, and you move up through the ranks until you're the president or chairman of the company and you become successful and respected throughout life. These are some old stories. Obviously, the stories that we hear today of what people's lives are supposed to be like are completely diverse. We no longer have these little archetypes. But one archetype still seems to remain. And that archetype is, in order for you to really feel like you're enough, many people believe they have to achieve an enormous amount. They may do it in different ways. They may do it by building a company and taking it public when they're 27 or 25 years old, or they find and create a new technology, or they become a very special doctor. But we live in a culture in the West that teaches people that you're not enough unless you do something really special and unique, and we define special and unique in interesting ways. A school teacher is not special and unique. A mother who stays home with her children day and night, sculpting their minds, their bodies, their souls, and their future is not special. We live in a world today where we treat teachers like they're nobody and pay them accordingly, and we wonder why our children seem to have challenges of learning and growing or being engaged in school. We spend thousands of dollars on some item like a computer, but what we look at overall, we invest in for the teacher and for that person who's the personal connection with them is so small. We live in a society where many women look down and say, well, you're just a housewife, you're just a mother. See, some of the pain we have in our society is not because there's one right or one wrong approach, but because we try to make everybody fit into some particular approach to life.
I'm going to stop, and YouTube's going to get a little bit of this. It's a quick one.
Why don't you just cut, and then we'll throw in our audio there, too.
All right. Maybe. This could be good. I wanted to cut into this a little bit because I love where he's going with this. It's such a strong feeling to me when people say, like you said, Tony Robbins, this guy is making millions and billions of dollars off of being a successful YouTube speaker and motivational speaker and a guy that really lifts people up. He's got a great following. He's doing a great job. If we take a look at Gary Vee, everybody wants to be Gary Vee.
Yeah.
And he preaches, you can be like me, just do what I do. Tony Robbins says, you don't need to be like me.
Yeah.
I love that distinction, and that's why I like Tony Robbins a little bit better than Gary Vee. Sorry, Gary Vee, but you understand, right?
Yeah, Gary Vee's all about that hustle, and now.
You can do me. You can do this. You got this. Be a digital marketing expert.
Hustle, grind, put it out there.
But I love what Tony Robbins says, where it's not about everybody being a Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's that our school teachers, I don't care if you come from the smallest district in the smallest area of America, a school teacher changes even one life or even their own life. It's a big impact on the world. Everybody should be given the same respect and good job for being who you are, and don't think that you are any less because of the money you make. And I get caught up in that myself on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Personally, Sean knows this. I want to make more money. We all want to make more money.
Yep.
But your value to this earth and this life does not come based on what you do financially for yourself. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's selfish.
Yeah. And that's like that double-edged sword of the world today. You know what I mean? Where
with the internet.
Yeah,
the internet makes everybody know what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, and like you said, FOMO, you know what I mean? You
really
have that fear of missing out. And not just that, but it sucks that it's such a world of like money does change a lot of things in this world.
It can.
Yeah. Like, does it ever buy happiness or anything? No, and there are countless people who have a lot of money who will tell you that. But at the same time, it makes life way easier. And so like that's why it's tough listening to a lot of like motivational speakers and people like that, because it's like you son of a gun. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's easy to have a good day when you're a millionaire, Gary V, when you own part of the Jets, when you have a sneaker line, when you have a wine tasting blog on YouTube that's getting you millions of hits week
Or
in,
if your
week
house
out.
literally blew up, you'd be okay.
You'd be fine. You would not lose a
if your
thing.
family wasn't in it.
Right, yeah, that would be, yeah, exactly. But
you think about it, and somebody, no, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, somebody who's got nothing can have just as good of a day as somebody that's got everything.
Yeah.
And we know that.
They can have a better day.
But
that's a reality.
Oh, absolutely.
There are so many people who are very well off in this world who end every single day filled with loneliness and despair, you know?
How many quote-unquote celebrities have not been in their best mental state, and we've seen it through,
suicides. I mean,
I didn't want to go there,
I will go there, but I mean, like, because that's the mental health crisis of the world today.
Robin Williams, everybody sees him as such a positive person,
and he tries so hard to spread love and laughs. And
well, he said too that, I'm paraphrasing here, and I don't really necessarily know the quote, but he was saying basically like, it's crazy seeing somebody that is so down that they're down on themselves, but they can exude themselves as one of the happiest people. And he thinks that the people who exude happiness want to give somebody else next to them this happiness because they don't feel it themselves.
Yeah.
Or to an extent or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I can definitely see that just because of how I try to live my own life, and that's not to say that like I don't have the happiness, but that is a big reason of why I try to be so nice to people all the time and to give that kindness.
Well, you are.
compassion.
That's why you have so many friends and colleagues and clients, dude.
But
People love you.
But what I mean is that like I know what it's like not to have those things, so I do want to share it with as many people as I can, and I know how tough the world is and how you don't run into people who are extending that hand of kindness and compassion very often in this world. A lot of people are closed off. A lot of people have those walls up. A lot of people are just content doing what they're doing, and it sucks that they're not at all content with it. They're all terribly miserable and suffering and not talking to anybody about it and just kind of coping with it. I guess that's a better way of putting it than
there are those people out there that are doing decent and they're okay with it, and they just don't give a fuck about people who don't care.
Yeah. Totally true. That's the thing, is that there's just so many spectrums out there.
But I think they're at a point in their life, and don't get me wrong, the way I described it is some people don't give a fuck, right? But some of those people who don't give a fuck are actually living the best lives they can because they're taking care of themselves, their families, their friends, or whatnot, doing their thing. But they're not worried about so much about what everybody else is doing. They're doing their own thing. We can have somebody who doesn't give a fuck making millions of dollars. We can have somebody who doesn't give a fuck making $70,000 a year. We can have somebody who doesn't give a fuck making $10,000 a year.
Well, now
went
out the window.
They're all the sorry, apologize. But they're all the same person. If you think about it, the true cause in these people who actually feel that is different because they all feel the same thing. They just have different exteriors around it.
Yeah,
and I think it's inspiring to know that people can have the same opinion and idea and life goals or life, the things they wake up in the morning and they're going to do that has nothing to do with income.
And, I think that a lot of it ties into what he said with like we set these expectations on ourselves. We set terribly high expectations on ourselves.
Thanks to social media, and the TV,
right? And like we were talking off air today about how you have these expectations of like the family, and it's literally everything Tony Robbins just rattled off, in the beginning of that. But all these things that you're like, man, if I want these things, I got to start thinking about it now, and I got to start putting this into action.
Right now, yeah. Right? I'm 28 years old. Let's figure this out.
And you put all this pressure on yourself, and excuse me, you set these expectations for yourself that, while they're not at all like unattainable, you know what I mean? They're also not immediate. And so by putting an expectation on them, instead of just going with the flow of the universe and saying, I know I want these things and they'll shake out eventually, you put the stress of it on like, well, I need it now, Oh,
because I'm 27 and I sit here and I think I'm doing good work in my career. I'm getting to where I want. I went to school for photography, okay? And I'm doing bigger things than just photography. I've been entrepreneurial and I've done my own business, but when it comes down to it, I'm doing good things for what I went to school for what I thought my passion was, and for what I really wanted to do. But it's a different lifestyle than what most people go through. At least I think so. It's just everybody. I personally feel like I've got an extremely unique upbringing, schooling, passion. But then every time we come on here, I think I'm not really that unique. You know, I'm really not that unique. I just want happiness, and I am trying every day to get myself there.
But that's like the paradox of this world, is that like while we all are incredibly different and unique, we're all the same. And so like that's a really tough concept to
We're all
grasp.
trying to grasp the same thing.
Yeah, everybody, I think ultimately the good-hearted people of this world are looking for peace, love, and happiness, you know, in one form or another, whatever the case may be on an individual basis. I think the good intention, the good-natured people of this world are seeking those things for themselves. Now, no, that's not everybody. You know what I mean? Are you going to run into terrible people out there? Yes. Are you going to run into assholes on a daily basis? Absolutely.
And I'm one of them sometimes.
No, Ben, never. And with that, let's jump back into Tony.
All right, let's do it. Truth is, I am kind of an asshole a lot of the time.
I think YouTube agrees.
Shit, I forget YouTube's
they're always watching you.
I don't like
you. Don't hide
I don't
from
like
YouTube, Ben. YouTube is watching.
Here's what's going to make you happy or make you unhappy in life. It's real simple. Let's do a quick test.
That was a good cut.
If you're in a situation right now where you look at your life, I know there's an area of your life that you probably feel pretty darn good about. Even if you're not happy with your finances, I bet you feel damn good close to your kids. Or if you're not close to your kids, maybe you don't have any kids, maybe you feel really good about your career. If you're doing not so good in your career, maybe you got a really great body that you've trimmed down or strengthened up, or you're really shaping yourself the way you want, muscularly. Or if that's not happening, maybe you feel a really special connection with God, or really close to your mother or father or your family, whatever. Almost everybody has an area of their life they feel really good about it. They're honest.
It's a fact.
They're fair to themselves. What's an area of your life you really feel happy about? I want you to think about it for a moment.
Say it out at home. What are you happy about?
In your life today, that if you wanted to be happy about it, you really could feel proud.
Happy that
like
my family is mostly alive. I got both grandparents on both sides.
That's crazy.
An area. I want you to think of it right now. And I want you to think of that area, whether it's your body or
I don't
your
have any
finances,
grandparents,
or your career, or your intimate relationship,
See,
your relationship with your kids,
yin
your
and
relationship
yang,
with your
dude.
creator.
Right?
I didn't know
I want you
that.
to think about, why are you happy with that area of your life right now today? Why are you happy with that area of your life right now today? Really think about it.
It's my grandfather's my best friend. So
If you were in a
I can't
seminar
imagine.
with me, I'd have you write this
Imagine.
down. And if you can put me on hold here for a second, because I'd like to reveal to you what the formula is for happiness. And if I say there's a formula for happiness and here's what it is, you're going to go, yeah, sure, that's what he says.
Crackhead.
But if you put down the answer and we can see the formula is real without me telling you what it is, you get to look at your own life and say it matches. You're going to know this is right. So you could stop this right now if you want, put me on hold, and just write down what's an area of your life you're really, really happy about, you're really pleased with, or you could be if you wanted to focus on it. And why are you happy with that part of your life right now? Even if you're not happy with everything, what's the area you're happy with and why? Put me on hold right now, or if you're not going to do that, just think for a moment. Why? Specifically, be real. Why?
Put down one area of your life that you're happy with.
I'm putting down 3.
Is that what he said?
No. I think he just did say 1, but I'm going to put down 3.
Right, but what did he say? One area of your life that you're super happy with.
Yep. All right, so I'd say my job, my relationships, and my attitude, but I'm going to highlight my attitude because I think that it directly plays into those other 2 things directly.
Well, I was in the process of writing 2 things, but should we record this actually?
Sure. So if we're going to break it down a little bit, that is a easy point to jump into right there, because we're going to write down things as well. And if it's something where you're out driving, hey, maybe you come back to this later and you do this on your own, we'll kind of play through it and do the same assessment right as Tony goes through it. So we each wrote down multiple things, but I kind of want to highlight it down just to say, like, my relationships, my job, and so I'm going to say my attitude. That's what I want to highlight specifically, that I am incredibly happy with and that I'm thankful for, is my attitude. And I think that it directly feeds into those other two things. So what about you?
You know, I think I'm happy most that I have most of my family behind me at all times. That I have family that's still alive. Whether it's my main side of my family, my grandparents, or the grandparents and the uncles and the aunts that I don't see very often. Regardless of whether I see them very often, the fact is for me that they're there.
Yeah, you have a
They're
big, healthy
still
family.
there.
Right
I have
now.
a very, I wouldn't say a very big family, but I have a very healthy family for what it is right now. And I'm very happy that, honestly, when it comes down to it, I feel passionate often. Some people have lost any like drive to what their passion is, and then it just falls. You know, myself, I shoot photography a lot less than I used to, and some people could say that I brushed that passion under the rug, and I don't think it's true, because in my heart, and when I go to sleep at night, and when I wake up in the morning, and throughout my daily life, my passion may not be exactly what I thought it was going to be 4 years ago. It still is to an extent. And I think it's the observation. As a photographer, I just love the observation of the natural world around me. And I am very grateful that my passion always drives me. At the end of the night, if I'm sitting on the couch and I think you didn't do much tonight, I know that's because my passion is like, yo, why didn't you get up and hike today? Why didn't you shoot some photos? Why didn't you know? My passion is always knocking at my door, and I'm very lucky that my passion is always knocking at my door. Some people have lost that passion, and the passion has lost them.
Yeah.
But I'm very lucky that my passion is always right there, saying you should have done a little bit better today. Here's what you can do tomorrow. Here's what you really care about, and you know you really care about it because I'm here again today, just as I was yesterday. My passion is always right on my door, and a lot of people don't get that. I feel very thankful that my passion does not leave me. It just keeps knocking.
And in that sense, I know that I am passionate about helping people, and
Yes.
I really do
Yeah.
aim to do that on a
Absolutely.
daily basis, one way or another. So, yeah, why don't we jump back into Tony Robbins and see what he has to say about these?
Now, when I ask this, if you turn me back on now, if I ask
We
this to
did.
an audience, I'll have people write this down for a few minutes, and I'll call on people, and I'll say, share with the person next to you first.
We
What are you
did
happy
that.
about, and why are you happy in that area? And be specific. And after they share, I'll have people stand up. I'll call on a variety of people, and I say, "Ma'am, tell me, what are you happy about?" And she'll say, "Well, honestly, I'm really happy with my body." She goes, "I never thought I'd say that, but I used to be so unhappy with it, and you know, I finally I did some
Floppy.
things. I pushed myself through, and now I exercise regularly. And you know, I'm not perfect, but I feel fit. I feel strong. I feel energetic." And that's really, I don't know, it just feels good to
May
me.
not be perfect, but I feel
Now,
good about
I
it.
say to everybody, I'm now going to show you what the formula for happiness is. And it's real simple. I want to reveal it to you so you don't ever forget it. Whenever you're happy with an area of your life, it's because right now, your current life experience, I call it your LC, your life conditions, the conditions of your life conditions in that area match or equal to your blueprint, your story, your belief about how life should be in that area. So this woman says to me, "I'm really happy with my body because it's not perfect. Her blueprint is I don't need to be perfect, but it's so much better than it was. I'm fit and I'm strong and I have this energy." Her mental blueprint says I should be fit, strong, and have energy. I don't need to be perfect, but I should be that way. Well, when my life, my body matches how I think it should be, I feel good about my life. I'll ask somebody else. I'll say, tell me an area you're happy with. Someone else will say, well, I'm really happy with my career. And why? Well, I'm doing better than I even thought I would be. I mean, I'm ahead of the schedule of where I hoped I'd be at this stage. I'm working at this level in this company, and I have these skills and this ability, and it's even better than I thought. Well, once again, listen, this person's happy with this area of their life because their current life conditions in the area called their career are even better than they expected they would be, better than their blueprint, better than their belief of how it should be. If it's really better, you tend to be over the moon. One would say, I gotta tell you, I said, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my whole life.
I'm going to guess he's going to say the formula to happiness is to change expectations.
I'm in love with him and he loves me, and I can be myself with him. And we have this incredible intimacy and this passion, and we want to be with each other all the time. And I never get bored with him. Well, what's her blueprint? You want to be with somebody that you can have total intimacy with, somebody who you love and loves you. Those are part of her rules, her beliefs of how it should be. She said, it needs to be, I never want to be with anybody else. I want to be with them every moment. Her blueprint about how life should be and the way she lives, her relationship's even better than she hoped. When it's better than you hoped, you're going to be totally excited. So think about this then. What's an area you're not happy with? Let's see if we can find the formula for unhappiness. If the formula for happiness is to be able to
I can
meet
tell you that formula.
your expectations or exceed them, that really makes you excited. But
Where you sell
be happy,
yourself
at
short.
least meet it. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Not
But
even.
if you generally are meeting what you expect you want from your life in that area, you feel good. Life conditions match blueprint, feel good. So what makes you feel bad? What creates pain, stress, frustration? Real easy way to figure it out. Answer this question. What's an area of your life you're not happy with? I mean, be honest with yourself. And even if your life is great in all kinds of ways, I'm sure there's an area you'd like to improve. Anybody who's honest, if they're doing great in their career, very often they don't take care of their body so much. If they're really focused on their body, very often they find themselves in a position where they're not spending enough time with their kids. Or if they're spending time with their kids, their intimate relationship's not doing so well. Because it's the nature of human beings to focus on areas they feel comfortable with and
right?
strong in, and give those time. And the areas they don't feel so strong, and they go, I don't have time for it. What they're really saying is, I don't feel very competent in that area. So what's an area of your life that you are not as happy with? I mean, it's healthy, honestly, to look at areas and say, I don't like it, I want more. This whole concept of a breakthrough is about how do I close the gap between where I am right now and where I want to be. That's what we're here to do. It's like, here's where I want to be, here's where I am. It's healthy to see there's a gap. That makes me have this hunger, this drive to grow, to feel alive, to expand as a human being. So what's an area you're not pleased with? Is it your body? Is it your finances? Is it your career? Is it your spiritual life or lack thereof in terms of feeling connected in that area? Is it your kids? Right, what's the area? What's the area that's not where you want it to be? And then answer for a moment, why aren't you happy with that area of your life right now? Why specifically today are you not happy with that area of your life at this stage of your time of your life? Again, you can stop this and write it down. It might be useful for you. Or if you're going to keep it running, you can stop it and you'll turn it right back on and I'll kick into it. Do that now. Or if you kept it running, then I'll give you what happens. I have people write this down and they don't like this exercise so much. Well, I don't like my body, or I don't like my finances, I don't like my career, I don't like the person I'm in a relationship with, I don't like myself the way I'm in relationships. Why? And they write it all down.
Are they just mislabeled? Okay. That is a tougher one because it talks a lot about what we've dealt a lot with in the past on these episodes is that self-reflection, So the easiest one for me to come up with is just physical health. Like, I don't like getting heartburn on occasions at night. You got to take Tums or whatever else. I don't like having to rely on that. And I know that when I hit a certain weight, I don't deal with that as much. So not having that, the consistency out of it, not being sore from doing the daily grind work that I have to do. But when he said, like, why is that an area that I'm unhappy with? And it's because I know where I've been, that like I have hit that peak of physical condition. And so by putting on that 20 pounds, although in the grand scheme of things of losing 120, putting on 20 is not terrible, but it's the difference of mentality for me, where it's like, I know where I've been, I know how good I felt, I know the shape that I was in, and I know I can get back there again. So it's almost like a disappointment in myself, I guess.
I can understand that. I think that's one of the arguments that a lot of people who are listening or are watching feel the same thing.
Yeah.
For myself, I think it's honestly not appreciating what I have in the moment.
Okay.
I'm very good at dwelling on things, as you know. I'm very good at changing my perspective and my attitude based on my surroundings without me even deciding them. But what I think I'm happiest about is because at least I'm acknowledging this. I see it. And at least I'm acting on the idea that and learning that every day is valuable. Every day is exciting. Every day should mean something.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm most happy for and the problem I'm lacking at are both one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that understanding that in the moment, don't think of it emotionally, but think of it long term. That's one thing I'm working on most, but that's one thing I'm most happy about.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, I can have stress hit me. I can have all this stuff hit me, but I don't think, cool down, chill out. It's okay. You got all this going for you. I'm like, yo, look, you got jury duty tomorrow. Shit happens. You might not get paid tomorrow. But what I should be saying is, look, it's okay. You got savings.
Mm-hmm.
You get to, you get to perform your civic duty.
Right.
God damn it. You get to go, you get to not die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, for me. I think oftentimes we just neglect the obvious in front of us that we should be thankful for, and that's going very broad. We've talked about that 100 times, but
But if it's the
I
area that
forget
you need to work on, it's...
I forget the basics. I have this to do tomorrow, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But look at what I have.
Yep.
That's what we've been about since day one, episode 1.
That's right. And it's still going to be reinforced on a daily basis.
Still learning.
Yeah.
Still learning. It's not like you do a 1-2-step program and you're good to go.
Right.
It takes
baby steps.
You may never be an expert at it.
Yep. But you can take a lot of baby steps in the right direction. And even though you'll never be an expert and it'll never be perfect, eventually you will look back and be like, damn, I've gained a lot of ground and I have made a lot of changes.
Well, because I've looked back and been like, look at this stupid situation that you had at this time.
And now it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely wasted time.
Yep. Wasted time, stress, energy.
Yeah. But the biggest thing for me is I'm thankful that I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
I may not still act upon it, but I've learned awareness leads to choice. Choice leads to change.
That's right.
And I'm aware that oftentimes I'm like that as a person. But now that I know that, I'm able to look at things and change things slowly but surely. I'm not perfect, but
getting better.
There's always things that are worse, and I'm getting better at recognizing the things that are better.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into one more clip from Tony Robbins. We'll probably find a nice little point to cut off here, and this will probably be something we just come back to because it's a pretty lengthy speech. So I think that he'll have a lot more nice insight for us to come back to at a future episode.
Definitely.
But in the meantime, enjoy the end. Ah, hell.
Hell on earth. Look at that. Look at that. Does it smell like booze down here? Maybe that's just me.
It's like that.
Have people share
It's
back
a tough
and
one,
forth
Ben.
by call when people-
You have drank beer,
in the
and you're
less
sitting
than
right
3
next to me.
I tell people in advance, here's the formula for unhappiness.
Oh, it
I'll
smells
show you
Old Spice.
before you do anything else. When your life conditions, the way you're living your life today, does not match, it doesn't equal your blueprint, your story of how it's supposed to be,
Smell a little bit.
then you're going to have
Way to go, Sean.
Don't mind that cutscene. Thanks, Ben. Had to use the bathroom once again.
It's almost like I have one in my home, so I should use it.
It's true. Uh-oh. I smell a little old crow.
Who's Old Crow?
I think I need to make another mark here.
You mean Jim Crow?
The old crow.
Who's Old Crow?
He's your buddy, apparently.
Damn right. Ready?
Yeah, I think you gotta go back to the beginning now since you gotta cut out the last one you just did since it was terrible.
Maybe it was terrible.
You started playing Tony Robbins and then you had to cut.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Oh, okay. So we'll just keep going for YouTube.
then you're going to have disappointment, frustration, or pain. If your life
Yeah.
is way different than the way you think it's supposed to be, you can have enormous pain. If it's a little different, you might feel stressed.
What is this cup?
Make sense? So
Just
people
me being
stand up and they say,
stupid.
tell
Oh,
me,
okay.
what's the area you're not happy with? And the person says, well, I'm really not happy with my finances. And I go, why? And they say, because I'm doing worse now than I was 5 years ago. I made mistakes.
Oh, no, wait, you're right. You said we were about to talk, right?
Yep.
Oh, hell.
Oh wait, no, I think you're right. We finished talking because this is just on the wrong line, isn't it? Yeah, that's
You'll
up.
have a lot more nice insight for us to come back to at a future episode. But in the
Oh,
meantime,
YouTube, you guys just got fuck right here.
Blessed is what he means.
It was all
How
Ben's
people share
fault
back and
today.
forth. I call on people, and the lesson's pretty clear. I tell people
Once a
in
week,
advance,
one of
here's
us
the formula
fucks up
for
big time,
unhappiness.
though.
I'll show you before you
Welcome
get
to
it.
life.
When your life conditions,
Are you
when
kidding
your
me?
life conditions, the way you're living your life
We're a
today,
real podcast.
does not match, it doesn't equal your blueprint, your story of how it's supposed to be, then you're going to have disappointment, frustration, or pain. If your life is way different than the way you think it's supposed to be, you can have enormous pain. If it's a little different, you might feel stressed. Make sense? So people stand up and they say, tell me, what's the area you're not happy with? And the person says, well, I'm really not happy with my finances. And I go, why? And they say, because I'm doing worse now than I was 5 years ago. I made mistakes in the market, and at this stage of my life, I should have this much money, and I don't have it, and I don't know how to change it,
Comparing.
and it's making
Yeah.
me crazy. And why are they crazy? You say, well, because they don't have their economic needs met. No. You cannot have your economic needs met, and you can still be okay. But when you have an idea, this is what my need is, and I did the wrong thing, my life doesn't match how I'm supposed to be, that's when people get a little crazy.
Yes.
See, think about it.
Spot on for what I just said, too.
Spot
You
on.
grew up taking care of folding your own clothes, making your own meals, going to the store, doing the grocery shopping, cleaning the bedroom, cleaning the house, vacuuming, taking out the trash, and you did that your whole life. Then if you have to do that later on, you don't feel like you have economic pain because you don't have a maid. But if you grew up in an environment where everything was done for you and you never have to work, and now suddenly you have to work incredibly hard to just pay enough money to pay your bills, and all of a sudden food is building up and the house is dirty and your clothes aren't folded and nothing matches, you might find yourself really angry and frustrated because you have a different story about how life's supposed to be than how it is.
Yes.
Some
All of us
also
do.
say, well, I'll tell you why, because I'm in a situation now where, I'm 30 pounds heavier than I should be. Should be is the key
Almost
word.
the spot on
He's
number.
talking to me. He's talking to
There are
me.
people in all cultures who love being big. There are people that walk around and someone else might think they're massively overweight, but they're going, I own this, honey, and they really, truly, they
true.
match their blueprint. Big is beautiful, because their idea is big is beautiful. I'm big, that's beautiful, matches my blueprint. Rock and roll, I'm happy as can be. Somebody else can look like a twig and be stressed out saying, I hate my body. Because their blueprint says I should be the skinniest thing on earth, and I'm not skinny enough. Am I making sense? When your life
Perspective,
conditions don't
though,
match
too.
your blueprint, you're going to have pain. But here's when you suffer. When I ask people, who here has been through the dark night of the soul? Who's been here in a situation where you feel like life isn't worth living? Or you feel like a pain that just will never go away? And a lot of people write down those experiences, like Joaquin. So you begin to understand what the issue is I'm talking about here. Joaquin, if you recall, was in a situation where this man felt like there was no reason to live. He couldn't work. He couldn't do anything. His life was worthless. Why did he think that? Because he had a blueprint. And his blueprint said, I need to be an NBA basketball player, at least a professional basketball player. I need to be able to make money and have this great lifestyle because that's what makes me worthwhile as a human being. That's what makes my family respect me. My mother, my uncles, my aunts. I'm the successful one in the family, and I make the money. I support everybody. He's a good man. He didn't come just to be successful. He took care of his mother, his family. He tried to be an inspiration for people. Joaquin Hawkins is a man who was always going out on his free time and training kids and showing them the pathway to freedom, how they could play basketball and get free like he did and get out of the inner city. So this man is not a selfish man, but he knew this is the way to be worthwhile. This is the way to be able to give to people. This is the way to take care of your family. And all of a sudden, one night, what happened? That way was taken from him. he has a stroke. In the middle of the night, his life conditions make it impossible to be who he has to be, or he feels like he's worthless. You get it? We have an identity. We have a story of how we're supposed to be. And if life somehow gets in the way of that story, we feel pain. But if we feel we have no control, that's when we go into suffering. See, it's one thing to say my life doesn't match my blueprint. I got to lose weight. That might stress you out. Or my life doesn't match my blueprint. I'm not in a relationship. I got to get in one. That might motivate you even. You might not like it, but you're going to find a way to get in one. Or my career doesn't match how I should be. You could change it. But when you start believing that your life doesn't match your blueprint and you have no control to change it, you're helpless, that's when people suffer.
Mm-hmm. Good ending point. Ben's got to get real for a minute.
No, it's like he's speaking to me. I think so many of us are in the same position I am, and that's what frustrates me sometimes, is I sit here and think that I'm one of the only people going through this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your family situation is. I don't care what your career is. I don't care what you went to school for. I don't care if you did go to school. I think it's super important, and for me, it speaks out that your life and what you're supposed to do relies on nothing externally.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on you. And yes, you may have made these decisions to go to school for something that isn't necessarily valuable
Mm-hmm.
in today's day and age. I didn't go to school to be a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant or an engineer. I didn't have one of these job descriptions that everybody already knows.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school and I did what I wanted to do. And still to this day, I'm sitting here thinking, what can you do to solidify yourself as a human being?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a job that's exactly what I wanted to do, because there aren't jobs that are exactly what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But sitting here getting down on myself, thinking, look at everybody else. Look what they're doing.
Got a family, got a house,
I
got the new car, got this, got that.
I'm scared for myself, and I told you before when we were off air that at my age, I'm nervous because I've always, my entire life, said I don't want a family, I don't want kids, I don't want to get married, because I've seen slightly what marriage is all about in 2019, 2020, in our day and age.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what kids can do to somebody, and I'm not ready to be there yet. But at 28 years old, you sit here and you look at yourself and you say, shit, do you want to have kids? Because you're at the age right now where you got to decide
Mm-hmm.
if you want to have them or not.
You're putting that pressure on yourself.
I'm putting that pressure on myself. I really am. And yes, I could go another 5-10 years and still have children. I don't know. Or adopt. I don't know. But it's so hard to get away from what everybody expects.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I wrote down way back at the beginning of this conversation, I'm going to go back, that the ideals that we have in America nowadays, and I'm going to get excited here a second because I fucking feel strongly about this.
Okay.
The ideals we have here in America nowadays are flawed. The idea that a person can graduate from high school at 18 years old and become an adult instantly when they graduate is false.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that somebody can graduate from high school and live a successful, strong life alone is false. The idea that somebody can be 18 to 25 years old, buy a house, figure out things, have a family, maybe a kid, is false. The idea that everybody should be able to graduate from high school or graduate from college and have a good life is false. The idea that somebody should be able to go to school for 4 years, like they told us in high school, if you're a 90s or 2000s kid, and go to college, you'll get a good job afterwards, is false.
No, Ben is making a lot of generalizations.
I'm not going to say it's false.
He said it was false
what I'm saying is there's such
But it's not true for everybody.
there's such a lack of tradesmen, of people who want to do things that don't involve going to college.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a lack of people who realize that what they're going to college for may not get them a job.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a lack of understanding that people who study, and instead of high school teachers asking, where do you want to go to school, teachers should be asking, what do you want to do?
Mm-hmm. What would make you happy?
Because
what are
we're
you
all
passionate about.
There's no such thing as a roadmap to success.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like teachers in high school in the 90s and 2000s were geared towards telling people, here's the roadmap, jump on, go to school, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such fucking bullshit. Such fucking bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
That's
But
right.
everybody needs to have their own roadmap. Cut out what social media tells you. Cut out what your professors tell you. Cut out what your high school teachers tell you need to do. Find your passion. Find what you want to do. And at 18 years old, 6 months ago, you had to ask for a bathroom pass. And now everybody wants to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. You don't need to know what you want to do for the rest of your life before you're 25, 30, 35. Who even knows how many years?
Stop putting expectations on yourself.
There is no roadmap. There is no right and wrong. There is no do this to get a good job, do this to get a bad job, do this to be successful. There is no such thing.
Every single time.
There is no such thing. Pisses me off. But we are right there on the fence
mm-hmm.
of that time period
the
where we understand that.
Yeah.
Because now we're lacking in people who are needed for trades and quote unquote blue collar work. We've got too many goddamn accountants. How many fucking accountants do you need? Sorry, YouTube. How many fucking accountants do you need? How many goddamn doctors do you... Well, we need as many doctors. How many, fucking do what you want to do.
Ben
Don't get wrapped up. I'm fucking pissed off because in the high school here in America nowadays, everybody says, where the hell do you want to go to school? Who the fuck cares? Because it doesn't matter. What do you want to do? What do you want to do to be a successful human?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do to make yourself happy? It doesn't come down to what school you go to. Because fuck school. School fucks the economy. To the extent where nowadays a lot of people are so littered in student debt that they are almost hindering the economy. Because they can't afford to buy a house. Because they can't afford to buy a car. Okay? At the place we're at right now, we're all so wrapped up in where all the debt we've already reaped. Where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because the world and the economy that we've grown up in the late 90s and early 2000s said, where do you want to go to school? Go to college, you get a good job. That worked in the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It does not work today because college degrees do not get jobs that pay better than not going to college since early 2000s. It doesn't work that way anymore. It does not work that way anymore. People need to find it within themselves. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
What steps can you take?
What steps can you take to get where you want to be? And if your job currently does not hold the financial stability that you want, I hope that it can get you there by climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, or looking for those new opportunities or seeking out school. For some people, there is college that is the answer. For other people, maybe you find a trade school.
But it's not the only answer.
Right,
it's not the only answer.
Yeah, maybe you are passionate about being an electrician or being a plumber or, those, like you said, those trade jobs. There are plenty of union jobs out there, too. You can find different work. You can create, new opportunities for yourself. But the point being, just don't sit. Don't just sit in it anymore because...
This isn't 1980s where you can make $40 an hour at GM and with pension. We understand that. Things aren't that way anymore. But it doesn't mean you have to go to college to get a good job. That's not the way it is anymore. And don't let anybody tell you that it is. Find your passion and go for it. honestly, I feel so strongly about that because I went to school, because I had a passion, and it didn't necessarily instantly get me a job where everybody said, "Oh, you'll be making a lot more once you go to school."
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. You gain a lot more when you become really good at what you're passionate about. That's what gets you money, not school. School can get you to that place or that doorstep, but your passion, what you're good at, what you excel at, what you determine that you're going to be the best at, what you gain experience in, is what you will actually bring to that doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Not what any teacher tells you need to go to school. And I feel so strongly about that in today's day and age. College is not the answer.
For everybody.
College, college is not the answer.
If you want to be a doctor, college is the answer.
Well, yes, but college is the gateway to other opportunities. But college is not the only way out.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. Because a lot of people need to be told, look, you don't feel like going to university? Good. Go into the trade you want to go into the career you want to go into. That will be better for you than getting $80,000 to $100,000 to $300,000 in debt.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not feeling it, there's no shame
in waiting
in
or
going to your career and your passion. College does not equal passion.
Right.
College does not equal passion. I hate it. People say, where do you want to go to school? I just hate that. What do you want to do is the correct answer.
Yeah. I can feel your passion.
I'm so
on the
passionate about it.
subject.
I
think we're just gonna have to carry it into next week's episode. So
all right, let's do
we'll
it.
just roll with more passion. We'll continue on with Tony Robbins next week. We're gonna end this show the way we always do for you guys with some awesome stand-up comedy. Who do we have today, Ben?
Shit, I don't fucking know.
Once again, you're not prepared.
No, I am prepared.
Oh, okay.
His name is I'm Unprepared.
You really did mess this up. His name is Mike Marino.
That's what I said. He says, "Make America Italian Again." It's a great freaking Laugh Factory track, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I believe this one was recorded in Chicago, but it is an absolutely wonderful comedy track.
Yeah.
Mike Marino comes out. He's super from Jersey. I think we can all figure that out within the first sentence.
Real Jersey.
But he's great. I hope you guys enjoy him.
Yeah, take a listen. Now, do we just put the rest of the Tony Robbins on a new track from where you cut last? Or on a new, you know what I mean, file? So we have it for next week?
Yep, we can. Actually, we may just have to... Oh, there we go. I think the best idea... I don't know how to save this one piece.
Copy it. Paste it on a new file. Save that file as just Tony Robbins.
Jeez, what? Fruit flies? What is welfare fucking capital shit?
Thanks for bearing with us, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube's watching? Oh, shit. We're gonna
you
cut
guys
this.
are fantastic. If you haven't heard that,
We're gonna have
already
to cut
today.
this shit.
Nah, they know what they're in for at this point.
No, they don't.
They're at home right now, drinking a beer,
Doubt it.
smoking some CBD, maybe vaping, since the flavored nicotine ban is now pulled back
vaping's
again.
Bad for you.
It's pulled back again, and they're allowed to. Unfortunately, for places like Juiced and everywhere else, they already fucking unloaded their surplus at a very discounted rate. So a lot of
Thank
people,
you, Gretchen Whitmer.
a lot of people have like 2-year supplies now that they're all stocked up on.
You talking about
Yep, Justin, you, Chris Decker.
I didn't pay for mine.
No,
though.
I know. You got hooked up for free. Now you don't have
my
to
boy
shop there
Joel's
again.
a real deal. What up?
But whatever you're doing, sitting at home enjoying yourself, we appreciate you. And you bear with us through all this crap. You probably come to YouTube just to watch this because you're like, God,
That's a bad decision.
How
on
do
your
they
part.
possibly get this show out every week? And if you're a diehard enough person that you not only watch this YouTube, but you listen to the podcast sounds so clean and crisp and polished at this point. The audio quality is on point. We do good fade ins and fade outs.
No,
YouTube?
once or twice, we do all right.
Not so much. YouTube down there, you got the little ticker ticking by with the information that tells you everywhere you can find us. You've got the plugs.
No, I took the ticker off. I'm joking. It's still there.
Okay, good.
Let's talk about this. Let's lead in Mike Marino. Oh, we did.
We already did that, Ben. Just play it for the people.
Oh, some bitch.
I wanted to take this opportunity to let everybody in this room know that I'm running for President of the United States in 2020. And I feel that the microphone was sabotaged by somebody that would want me to be the president. Because I would be the first Italian president running the country, and let me tell you what I would do.
Is that muted?
First of all, we need a guy like me, you understand?
I fucking love
Nice
this.
Italian president. I'm going to change the motto from Make America Great Again to Make America Italian again. And then if you want to live here, no problem. You all got to say the same thing if you stay
No
here.
problem.
You don't know none, you didn't see none, you don't say none. You understand? We start changing things right away. We go to the airport, we get rid of that sign. You know that sign, if you see something, say something. No, you keep your fucking mouth shut. I'm not even going to need 4 years. 3 months will straighten out the entire country. Understand? I'm going to relocate the White House from Washington to New Jersey. This way nobody knows where we are. You understand? I'm never going to tweet. That shit stops. I'm Italian. I don't want anybody knowing what I'm thinking. You understand? And you don't follow me. I follow you. Imagine a guy like me giving speeches on national television. People in the press asking me questions, right? They're like, Mr. President, you took care of the problem in North Korea. How'd you do it? I'd be standing there with my cabinet. You know my cabinet, right? Huh? Anthony, Nicky, Joey, Tony, Sal. A couple of guys in tracksuits.
That's
Have my
funny.
mother
I
there
love
with a
this
bowl of
guy.
macaroni, meatballs. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Like, you want to know what happened in North Korea when we went to go talk to the guy about the thing? Well, here's what happened. We went out there to talk to him, sat him down, this and that, we were talking, we brought him a calzone, we're not stupid.
Bum,
We
bum,
ain't gonna go
bum.
around empty handed, what do you think we are?
His laugh.
We were talking to him, and then, I don't know what happened. But he's gone now,
Stupid Jersey, dude.
and there's nothing you can do about that. Come on, people. How much fun would it be if you knew the president was actually whacking people? Like, Mr. President, what happened with ISIS? But, you want to know what happened when we went to go talk to that guy about the thing? Well, here's what happened. I called ISIS up.
Making a
ISIS.
shotgun in your beer.
So, yo, Ice. What up?
So we flew him out to Vegas, him and his friends, We went dancing and this and that, and then, I don't know what happened. But they're gone now.
Down the hatch, just like
There's
that.
nothing you can do about it. I always
8
wanted
or
to be on
9
television
total?
during the
9
debates.
total?
I wanted to be part of the debate. You guys remember when they did that? They were making fun of each other on national television.
not
I
good.
say you don't do that. It's very disrespectful. It shows weakness in foreign countries. Imagine them making fun of a guy like me on national television. Then the master of ceremonies looks at me and says, Mr. Marino, Trump and Clinton just made fun of you. Would you like to rebuttal? I'm like, yes, I would. Go to a commercial break. You come back from break, you can't find Trump or Clinton anywhere. Like, Mr. Marino, what's going on? I'd be like, I don't know what happened. But they're gone now. And there's nothing you can do about that.
A big shout out to the Laugh Factory. Find them on YouTube for more hilarious stand-up videos.
Mike Marino is one of my favorites. Absolutely freaking funny. And I even talked to my brother. He says he's heard of him all the time. Mike Marino's on there all the time. If you're a big Laugh Factory fan, please share Mike Marino. He's my favorite. And if you're not a Laugh Factory fan, please check him out on YouTube. Please check him out on Facebook. And also check him out on Instagram, Twitter. Shit, I'm telling you what. I'll plug them. Because they are all over the place and they are funny as hell.
That's right. And if we're going to plug them, we should plug you guys too. Thank you for being fantastic listeners for us. Thank you for joining the BOWA show week in and week out. Support means absolutely everything to us. And make sure that you've clicked that subscribe button wherever you're getting this, whether it's YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes. Everywhere that you find podcasts, you can leave that subscription for us, which helps a lot. You know what else helps a lot?
What?
Reviews.
Oh, yeah?
If people are willing to review us, it helps a lot. You know what else helps a lot, Ben?
What?
When people like, comment, share, do all those social media things that make a difference to this podcast.
Thank you, everybody who does already like, comment, and share.
Yep.
You make this podcast what it is.
Yep, we have a growing base of people who are jumping in every single Monday to get that positivity package.
We have had crazy numbers the last couple of weeks.
Yep, it gives us hope for the future of maybe one day Ben will stop swearing and we'll be able to monetize.
You know, it ain't all my fault.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I filter myself most of the time.
How many listens did we have last week?
Episode 28.
We had over 200 listeners.
Over 200 listeners individually downloaded. And that was, I don't know what we did on Spotify. I didn't even look. And the most downloaded from YouTube as well.
Yep.
We were up around 70 views or something last time I looked on that one.
Thank you for joining us.
It's a growing show, and the only reason it's growing is because of you guys. So I hope you know that you're appreciated. I hope you know that you're loved. Exactly. If it's the first time that you've heard that in a while, you deserve it. And give yourself a little pat on the back for being here with us for our positivity package each week. The BOWA Show, living a positive life in a world that makes that incredibly difficult at times. I'm Sean, joined as always by Ben.
I'm so happy that you were all here. I didn't show up to the show positive, but I definitely have a better outlook now than I did when we got here, and that was my goal.
It's totally true. Baby steps to perspective, eh?
Thank you, Sean. It's always baby steps. Every day is a different battle. Every day somebody's going through something different. Just stick with it. Don't worry about anybody else. Do what you want to do and keep pushing.
That's right. Come back next week for the conclusion of an episode about passion as me and Ben dive further into Tony Robbins. Take a great attitude with you this week and kick some ass.
Kick some ass.
Spread some love. Tackle today. And as always, make the best of what's around.
I got it if you want it.
This is done.
Turn it up.
No, because I don't want to. I'll at least do that. But
that was a good one.
Thank you, YouTube. You're here early. You're here late. You're the people who make this show great.
You put up with our shit.
It's true. We have ups. We have downs. We're very real on the BOWA Show here. And we focus on that positivity. So thank you for joining us. Ben, anything else you want to add to them?
Just thank you for being here. Because a lot of people will cut this shit out. It's the end of the show where the newscasters are sitting here talking to each other, you know.
Shuffling their papers.
Oh, you know, Anchorman, you know. But
we could just pantomime things to make it look like we're talking. Like
we do sometimes. Well, what was that? I see, exactly. No, thank you for being here. It's been a great episode. And I also noticed that you all get mad at me when I clap sometimes because it sets the mic off.
All the time.
Tony Robbins did it at least 3 times in that video. Check it out.
So what he wants to say is Ben is just as good as Tony Robbins.
No, I
That's
did
what
not
he's
say
getting
that.
out there.
Saying, thanks, guys. Have a great week. We love you for listening, and we're excited to see you again next week.
Come back soon. Peace. Asa.
Ata!